Greetings, everybody. Amalia here with Karmic Kindness with your Wonder Wednesday for today. Feeling a little tired. I had a bit of an experience the beginning of this week. So I'm not sure for those of you who are traveling this weekend, I was with you in your potential pain. For those of you who weren't, you were probably better served. We're staying put. There were a number of travel delays due to FAA issues, due to weather. And one of my soul sisters and I got caught up in the craziness of those delays and cancellations. And so what was supposed to be a 2.5 hour flight turned into a 27-hour travel experience, let's just say. And I have 3 lessons that I learned during this experience. So I'm going to do a very brief summary of what happened as to not belabor it all. But we were scheduled to fly, and there was a delay from Washington Dulles to Fort Lauderdale. And our plane was coming from Newark, and the flight, that flight was delayed. And so there was this ripple effect from that flight being delayed and not getting to us. And so it just kept being pushed out further and further and further and further. After waiting about 5.5 hours, they then canceled the flight a little after midnight. And so we were then stuck along with everyone else on the flight, clamoring to get to customer service to try to get that sorted. My friend had to get back to her kids, and there was a lot going on at home, and just a lot going on at home, and it was imperative that she get back. And so we were met with a number of different issues. We could not, based on the status of a number of flights, we could not get back until Wednesday. We then looked at renting a car, went to the rental car center. There were no cars available. We then were like, okay, it's now 1:30, almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So we ended up getting a flight booked on another airline with a connection and at a different airport than when we started. And we got a hotel room, went to the airport. That flight was delayed. We were then scared we were going to miss our connection. We finally make it to Atlanta, and we land to find out that we might have been able to make our connection, except that flight was canceled. And there were no more flights to the east coast of Florida available at all. Like, everything was sold out. So the only option we had was either to drive or to book another flight at least close by. And the closest was Fort Myers, which is on the other side of the state. Luckily, Florida is skinny in the southern part, so that wasn't too bad. But after all of that, renting then a car, driving across, and ultimately making it to Fort Lauderdale, dropping off our rental car, we get to so close to where the car is parked to go home, and we're in the elevator, and we go to get off, and the door opens this much and is stuck. And like, after all that we went through to get home, and then here we were going to be stuck in an elevator, was just not an option. So we ended up prying the doors open, and we're able to get ourselves and our suitcases out, and we're on our way home 27 hours later. So in this type of experience, any of you who have had travel delays or issues, you know it can be really harrowing and really stressful. And the one thing I can say about us is, in that whole experience, we had a sense of humor, and we just rolled with it. And what else could we do in that situation? We just felt like it is what it is. I always look for the bigger picture message in things that happen in my life. And so the 3 takeaways I have relate to control. So we realized in this experience that we had no control over how this was going to play out, over when that flight was going to arrive, when the next flight was going to be able to take off, what flight we actually made it on. The only thing we did have control over was the energy that we had, the attitude that we had about the experience in and of itself. And when we just really looked at it from this sense of playfulness and just shrugged it off and just had to laugh at the absurdity of it all, it created an experience that wasn't as stressful or as traumatic as it could have been. So the awareness of what do we actually have control over, and that was the energy that we had. The second part of it was patience, and that means that there was a timetable that was what I call divine time. It was not our time. It was not the fact that we wanted to be home at a specific time or on a specific day. It was that we were going to make it home exactly when we were meant to make it home. And that we were going to have this knowing that it was all happening in divine time. It was all happening exactly as it was meant to happen. And again, that comes back to the control. All these pieces fit together. And the last piece of it is faith and trust. Faith and trust that all is working out. Faith and trust that we were going to get on any flight that was going to get us home, or at least closer to home. Having faith and trust that when we're in that sense of playfulness and in the sense of flowing with it, this letting go of the control over how it works out, just knowing that it will work out, being able to control our attitude, that also contributed to things moving more smoothly and it working out for us, and it being an experience that she and I can laugh about now. And we laughed during the process too. An experience that brought us closer together, an experience that really, really tested us to see, with all of the hits that we took, with the timings and the delays and the cancellations and, all of the pieces to that puzzle, that it all worked out and that we made it home. And it was an experience that we both will carry with us forever. And it's a place where we actually became closer and had time to really spend with each other on a whole nother level. You really get to see who someone is in a time of crisis. How do they respond? How do they navigate when this happens? And the beauty of it is that, she and I both are the kinds of people who will take control of a situation, and we're going to do what we have to do and make sure we get things done. And we both did that, but without vying for control of it. We both stepped up where we needed to. She took care of one thing, I took care of the other. Even when it came to refilling each other's water bottles, or getting a little snack for someone, or sharing with the snacks that we had, the resources that we had, sharing information with each other and the people around us. It's those times of distress. How do you show up? Are you very self-oriented, or are you looking at the whole? Are you sharing what you have with other people? Are you showing up for yourself in a different way? It's really, it's quite an experience of self-discovery and alignment, as well as acknowledging those times when you're not feeling great. I mean, there were times we're both just so tired and spent, but at the same time feeling very grateful for the fact that we did have food and we did find a way through, and we did have an opportunity to sleep in a bed for 3 hours, but we still did, and that we were able to get a rental car and make our way home, and that we were able to get those elevator doors open and make our way out without getting hurt. And just a really, really dynamic experience. So I'm curious for you on this Wonder Wednesday. I wonder if you have had experiences in your recent history where you were put in a position that was really uncomfortable, or a position that was very trying, and that you found the lesson and you found that silver lining and you were able to make your way through. What did you do? How did you feel? And share your experiences. Remember, we learn from one another. I can't wait to hear from you, and please do share with someone you think may benefit. Ciao for now.